How do we make connections with LinkedIn? That is an excellent question, and one that our program quality director, Tanya Hall, is here to answer. In 2010, Tanya was looking to re enter the workforce after having kids. One of her connections suggested she gets set up on LinkedIn. Never having heard of it, Tanya did her research and learned to make connections. A connection that ultimately led to a job shortly thereafter. Tanya's love and appreciation for LinkedIn was sealed that day, and ever since, she has been helping friends, families, and coworkers learn the skills that will enrich their life. Please join me in welcoming our program quality director, Tanya Hall.
Thank you, Michael. Welcome, everybody. And oh my God, what an amazing day of learning we have had so far. But today we're going to talk about LinkedIn as well. And like Michael said, it changed my world. I thought, oh, let's get back into that hunting for a job and what does that look like and where do you go with it? And I did what everybody did. You reach out to who you know to say, help me. I don't want to be doing what I'm doing anymore and I need to be doing something else. And that's where LinkedIn came into my life. But since then, I've been using it to build connections and create relationships in enhancing my own career in doing so. So today we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about what is LinkedIn and how it differs from other social media platforms. We're going to talk about how we can create a personal profile and brand ourselves as individuals, as well as a business and our Toastmasters Club. We're going to talk about how we go about setting up our LinkedIn page, and then we're going to talk about how we can enhance our personal profile to get the best out of it for our own journey. At the end, we're going to do a hands-on tutorial and walk us through all of the fundamentals. So get ready. Let's embark on this journey. So LinkedIn, and often you hear people say, oh, I don't want another social media platform. I've got Facebook. Why do I need LinkedIn? LinkedIn is different. Facebook is seen as the social network, the network that connects strangers together. You share stories, you bring people into that. LinkedIn is seen as that thought leadership channel. The why do I want to listen to you and what authority do you have on the subject? And that's the power of LinkedIn is it really embraces that connecting people. And so it's one of the world's largest professional networks out there. And it's large because of that reason. It allows us to embrace with other people. One of the questions I often get is how many people should I have on LinkedIn and do I be picky about who I have and and all of those kind of questions. And my answer to that is the more the merrier, because you're sharing thought leadership content. And when you're sharing that thought leadership content, you want people to hear the message. The best way to hear the message is invite people into your network. There's that rule of thumb of if I know them or don't know them, and you want to be able to embrace that. And it depends on what your audience is. So if you're doing a Toastmasters page, embrace them, embrace all of them, because the more the merrier. If you're doing a business page, embrace them all, the more the merrier, because the more they see your content and they share your content, other people are seeing it too. So it starts to spin out of that. So just remember, more is a good thing. So don't steer away from it. We want to take the time to invest in building our LinkedIn page for our Toastmasters Club and our business and even ourselves because we want to be able to spread that message and we want others to see it. I will share with you a fun story about how I compete with my husband. I'm very competitive. I didn't realize I was competitive. I am very competitive. So my husband and I will do up a post and we will see who gets the most engagement on the post. He's got different content than I do, but we post at the exact same time, and then it's a race to see who gets the most content. And I usually outnumber him by thousands. And I do that because I have strategies and I use the power of my network to build other people seeing the message. And he's just using his own network and hoping that that's enough. So today we're going to talk about how we can build the power of our network to make the most of it and get our pages working for us. Okay, so why? Why do we do it? We do it because we want to share our company news, our updates. We want to share what's going on in the world. And we do this through doing active postings with it. We want to be able to post jobs or connect people with other employers that are looking. And that's exactly how I found my job. So it does work. It's a powerful tool to be able to network, find career opportunities. I scour LinkedIn for people I want to hire. It is a huge, I don't even know I need to hire you until I find you. And I'm like, I like what they're saying. They're posting a lot. They're active. I want to know more about them. And I'll use it for a recruitment method. But I also, when I'm interviewing people, I go to their LinkedIn and I see what they have to say. You know, are they posting about the party they went to Friday night, or are they posting about a great article they read and they're showing some thought leadership into it? So we want to be able to drive our employment connections through our LinkedIn as well. And for our Toastmasters lives, we want to build a community. We want to build a community of people that are interested in communication and leadership. We want to build a community that are interested in what we're selling. And that's why we need our LinkedIn pages for that. Just like in Canva, we need to make sure we're keeping on brand so that we have that consistent brand. So we do it in our Facebook page, we do it on our website, and we do it on our LinkedIn. And all of a sudden, these three start working together and building a really powerful connection. And last but not least, we want to be discoverable. And so the power of social media is that it all works together. It all works together. So Google's got a whole lot of analytics working behind the scenes. And when we want to promote our businesses or our clubs, we want to be seen in that top 10. Does anybody here go to the 20th page or the 30th page of Google to see who might be showing up? No, we go to the top 10, maybe the top 20, but we don't tend to go past that. After top 20, we try a different search. So we want to make sure we're being discovered in those engines. And the way the algorithm on the back end works is it takes the, hey, are you active on Facebook? Are you active on LinkedIn? Do you have an active website? If you're active, you must be real. That's the first check mark. Are you real? And so when we've got our websites, and that may be our main message of where we're driving people to, we need to be seen as real in order to do that. And often our websites are stagnant. So we need all of the social media contents to be pushing into there. And so when we have our Facebook and our LinkedIn and they're active and they're engaging, it gives our website credibility all on its own. And so those are the big reasons that we want to have our LinkedIn pages. Now, pages are dedicated to individuals, companies, organizations. And so there's pages, there's groups, and there's individual profiles. Today, we're going to talk about the profiles and the pages. Those are the two that we're really going to dive deeper into. A page is like a website, but on LinkedIn. It is your foot forward. It is talking about your business. It is talking about your Toastmasters club. So it's a page. If you are only marketing yourself as a professional, you don't need to have a page. You need to have a profile. If you're marketing yourself as a Toastmaster club, you need to have a page. Does that make sense? I'll just wait in the chat and see if anybody, I've got Sharon's head nodding, so that's good. A group is where we have those little off conversations where we're able to develop connections with industry specific items. So we'll follow a group when we like what they're saying or we want to be part of it. Often, you know, like my kids' school has a group. So it's all of the parents of the kids are talking about, oh, when do we have to pick our subjects? When do we have to be in? And so it's all collaborative thinking that way. But for what we're talking about today, focus on the page, focus on the profile. Groups are kind of that add-on element to it, okay? Collaboration with your networks, big one. You want to be able to stay in touch with people. You want to be able to collaborate. I had learned, a long time ago, when you call somebody up out of the blue and you ask them for a favor and you haven't talked to them in 10 years, they go, yeah, no, no, thank you. End of conversation. But somebody had told me, when you're working your LinkedIn, take time and email 10 people once a week and say, hey, how are you? How's it going? Just thought I would check in. They don't have to be your point A group or your point B group, but you're keeping that relationship open. You're keeping that conversation going so that when you do need something, they know who you are. They haven't forgotten who you are. You're in touch with them, and it's a closer connection. So I would challenge you guys all, if you've got 500 plus people on your LinkedIn connection, or you're desiring to have 500 plus on your LinkedIn connection, email them, randomly pick them out of the blue and say, hey, I either really liked your content that you wrote the other day, or I haven't seen you in a while, just thought I'd say hi, because it really will make a difference in your engagement level on LinkedIn. The more you're engaged, the more people start to see you and follow you and check you out. And that's when your posts become more relevant. Here's a key. You can only have one live page at a time on LinkedIn, or you can only be one live page up at a time. Now, at first I thought, what does that really mean? Because I manage multiple pages. I have multiple clubs. I have multiple businesses that I support. How does that make sense? But what it's really saying is, and I'm sure some of you guys can resonate, somebody in your club created a LinkedIn page and then they went away. And then you want to create a new LinkedIn page. Well, you can't. You have to either revamp the old one or you have to delete it and start again. You cannot create, I'm going to pick on, you cannot have above and beyond Toastmasters and then have above and beyond Toastmasters, one page only. So you're going to want to rename it. You're going to want to create a second one, but ultimately you want to get that page up and running. So you got to contact the coordinator of it, switch it over into your name, and then you can re-edit it. So just keep that in mind as you're going through. If your club already has a page up, find who created it, get the controls over to you so that you can manage it. And so you want to be able to do that. Now, creating a page, it's actually fairly simple. It sounds intimidating, but it's much simpler than it sounds. So first of all, like Facebook, you have to have a profile. And today I'm going to assume that you have your profile. Okay, so everything moving forward is assuming you have your profile. Then you are going to go, and we'll do this live, but up at the top, you're going to see some icons. And I don't know if I have a pointer screen available. Let's see if I do. Okay. Can you guys see where I'm pointing? I'll get Sharon. Can you give me a thumbs up do you see my mouse pointing? Perfect. Thank you. So up at the top, you're going to see your boxes up here. You're going to click on the down arrow and you're going to come all the way down to create a company page. So this is if you do not have a company page, that's what you want to do. You want to go up to the work buttons and then you're going to want to hit create a company page. From here, you are going to go small business and medium to large business. One of the two. I suspect for most Toastmaster clubs, you're going to want the small business. If you're here to learn about your business, you may want to choose a medium business, and it's based on your employees. Now, for what we're doing with the clubs, we're not looking at Toastmasters International. We're looking at our club's size and audience, which we normally traditionally assume is 20 members. Some have 10, some have 40, but we're under the 200 for our average club size. Here's the key. When you hit that button and you start filling it out, fill it out completely because you want to have a complete profile. If it's a complete profile, you're going to have 30% more views on it. And when you have more views on it, it means people are reading your content. The reason you want to have a complete profile is because it says you're a real person, a real business. Take me seriously. I have an address. I have thoughts. I have an interest. So you want to be able to make sure you have that company page completely filled out. So here are some of the things that you're going to be asked when you're filling it out. What is your name? Okay. What is your name? And so this is going to be your company name, not your personal name, because you're creating your Toastmaster Club page. So I'm going to pick on, I don't know if Young Professionals is here, but we call Young Professionals the YP Club, or I think it's YP is their short form. We don't want to use the short form. We want to say Young Professionals Toastmasters. So you want to make sure that you're putting the full name in there because that's what people are going to search for. They're not going to search for the code name or the short form that you go by. Okay. You're going to want to edit your profile URL. And this is the URL that when you go to it, it'll say looking at Toastmasters Club, Stittsville Toastmasters Club. So you want to be able to have that and you can build your own brand recognition in the URL itself. You can do that as well for your personal profile. So both personal and your public facing page, you can brand it with your own words that you want to use. Link it to a website. Okay, that's going to give you more credibility with it as well. If you can't link it to a website, link it to your Facebook page so that the two are in sync and you're getting the best bang for your buck. Industry. You want to select the industry that it's at. And so some of the industry choices for a Toastmasters may be education. Is a good standard or industry that you may want to be selecting for. And company size. You want to indicate how big you are. And that company size in a Toastmasters world is related to your clubs. I wouldn't put 5 or 6 if you're in a struggling club. I would put 20. Stick with 20 because that's the baseline minimum of what a club should be. So if you're a larger club, put the larger number, but stick to a baseline of no less than 20 so that people know how big you are or how big you want to be. And then your company type. So there'll be a drop-down list that you get to pick and choose for your company type. And the logo. Now here's the thing. Toastmasters has done an amazing job branding their logo. They've got recognition. You know what it is. You see it all the time. Use it. It's the biggest piece of advice. Use what Toastmasters International has already done for you. They've already created an audience. They've already created the brand. You get to benefit from it. So just incorporate that into your Toastmasters page. Now, if you're creating your own personal or your own business page, you want to have a 300 by 300 logo. So you want to make sure it fits into that. Sometimes you'll see a logo that is too big for it and half of it is cut off and you're missing the first letter and the last letter and it doesn't look polished. So you want to make sure it's the right size. But whatever you do, don't go recreating the Toastmaster logo. It's already there. Go to the brand portal, download it, use it. And then a tagline. So in Toastmasters, it's where leaders are made. So you want to be able to use that tagline. Again, Toastmasters International has done a great job at branding it for you already. Take advantage of it. If you're in your business, we've got Nike, just do it. So whatever your tagline is, you can put that in there so people can start to associate with it. Let's see where we're at. What future? So questions to ask when writing your LinkedIn description. So a LinkedIn description tells about who you are, okay? It adds that credibility into your profile. So you want to talk about that culture of your club. If you're a coaches club, maybe it's we're a group of people coming together to learn and perfect our coaching skills. So you want to set that differentiation in your description and be able to enhance with that. I already touched on it, but let's touch on it again. Anywhere and everywhere you can draw connections to other content that you have, do it. It's a powerful, powerful tool to be able to embrace all of that together. So then all of a sudden, Google Analytics is starting to pick up on the, hey, this person must be somebody. They're connected and they've got active content. So link those together. Company location. So if you're setting up your Toastmasters Club, put your location. It's okay to put that, hey, we meet at 1100 Carling Avenue. However, we're currently online. You can put brackets online in there, but you want them to know where you're at so that they can find you. Add a cover photo. And I'm going to touch on this one for both personal and public. You want it to be professional. Okay. Professional, professional, professional. Get a nice stock image. Take a nice photo. I've seen beautiful photos of like downtown Ottawa. You can take it yourself if you've got a nice camera, but make sure that it's clean and crisp. And if you're doing your personal page, make sure it's about you. Something that tells a story about you. If you're doing your Toastmasters page, well, what is it? Right? So give a little bit of credibility into what the organization is so that you can use the picture to draw people in. You can also create something nice on Canva. Okay, so we've just gone through that. They do have LinkedIn cover photos in there as well. So you can do a couple of different things there. Just make sure it's professional. Keywords. You want to highlight and make sure keywords. Okay. And so wherever you can embrace this in your description, in your URL, people are looking for Toastmasters, they're looking for public speaking, they're looking for communication, they're looking for leadership. Embrace those keywords throughout so that people can really get an idea of where they're at. So here's a sample of a Toastmasters page. I thought it was a good example to lead with because it shows you the Toastmaster logo, and I went too far. Shows you the Toastmaster logo. It's got nice imagery in the background. It's got the tagline where leaders are made. It talks a little bit about it, of how many employees are there. And then again, down here, it goes into more of a description of the about. Okay, so clean, crisp. You can brand it on point with your brand, with the Toastmaster brand, whatever element you're establishing today. So let's dive in on setting up your personal LinkedIn page. So your personal profile. Again, you want to have a nice, clean, crisp background. You want to have a professional photo. You want to talk about yourself, but you want to talk about yourself in a way that is not just a job application. You don't want it to read like, here's a copy of my resume that I've just dumped into my 250 word about page. You want to talk about why you. If you're in sales, you don't want to just say, hey, I've been a sales manager for X amount of years. You want to say, led a sales team driving in over $2 million of business in a 6-month period while maintaining objectives and quotas. You want to talk about that. What do you do and why do you do it? If you're drawing in if you're in a daycare maybe and you want to talk about that, is responsible for the growth and the youth of the minds of tomorrow and today and tomorrow. So you want to build that in as opposed to just saying, here's all of my credentials of where I work. You want to tell that story. So use the About Us page for it. Talk about your experience. Where have you worked? Where have you volunteered? What does that look like? Your volunteer section of your personal page is an excellent spot to put all of your leadership opportunities in Toastmasters. Club member, officer roles, committee chairs. You can layer all of that into there so that all of a sudden your volunteer experience is giving you credibility. And talk about your accomplishments. Okay, we have them. Let's share them. Let's be proud of them. So those are the things that we want to make sure we touch on our personal profile page. Now, this is my favorite one because, like I said earlier, I'm competitive. So once you're logged in to your page, you can go to /sales/SSI. So linkedin.com/sales/SSI. This report tells you how well you're doing on LinkedIn. It's your personal LinkedIn scorecard. So on this one, you can see my social selling index is 49 out of 100. Okay. I can see that I'm in the top 18% of LinkedIn marketers in the industry that I've selected, and 41% out of the whole network of what I have. Now it tells me that, like the bars show you, okay, establishing your professional brand, you're about halfway there. Finding the right people, halfway there. Engaging with insights, not so great. And building relationships is great. So it gives you that benchmark so you can run that every week and see where you're at. Have you improved? Have you declined? Have you improved? For me, my goal is to be better than my husband. I want a better score than him. We're in completely different industries. It really doesn't matter. I just want to be better. So run that, challenge yourself with your coworkers, challenge yourself with your Toastmaster members, and see where you're at. But it also gives you that idea of where you can go to improve with things. So let's talk a little bit about content. What kind of content do you post on LinkedIn? You post content that is thought-provoking, questions, responding to information that you've read or heard. Don't post about your family, your marriage, your divorce. Leave that for Facebook. That all goes on a different social site. For LinkedIn, professional content. So think of it that way, as the thought leadership content that you want to be posting. You can post as often as you want. You can post once a week. You can post once a day. The quantity doesn't matter as long as it's thoughtful. Now, the one tip that I got in posting was don't post URLs in your content. Okay? Don't post a URL in your content. Post the URL in the comment. Okay, so maybe your post will say, hey, we're having a great Toastmasters open house. I hope you guys can all come. See the comments below for the link. Okay, so then in the comments below, you'll post the link. Here's the link that I mentioned above. And the reason you do that is because LinkedIn has this algorithm that says, hey, you're stealing somebody else's info. I'm going to just put you at the bottom of the list because you're not unique. So you want to be seen as unique. Putting it in the comments is a conversation. It's not stealing somebody else's information. The social selling index is sales/SSI. So linkedin.com sales/SSI. So the other thing that I have learned with the content is that you really want to be talking new stuff, right? So you don't want to take somebody else's post and share it because, again, they say you're not unique, go away, and you get put to the bottom of the list. There is more value in commenting on somebody else's post than there is posting new content. Okay, so if you see a post and you want to share it, instead of sharing it, add a comment and say, great post, can't wait to check this out. There's more value, your network is still going to see it. There's going to be value in that. So you want to make sure that you're commenting on people's posts instead of challenging it that way. So as you're doing that, the other tip I had on the content is get people, if you post, 10 people in an hour should comment on your post. That's how I make my post go viral. And by viral in my world means 1,000 likes and comments. Okay, so viral is different for everybody. I am by no means a huge make everything go viral, but I do try to strive for 1,000 likes and comments on my post. My husband strives for 50. Again, I'm competitive. So you want to have that, you find your own benchmark and then you strive for it. But you want to be able to build that out there. So again, just post thought-provoking content, put the URLs into the comments, and then ping 10 of your friends to say, hey, I just posted something. Can you go on and make a comment? The comment just has to be, this is awesome. It doesn't have to be intense. But if you're posting for your club, tell your club to hop on and like the post, because what happens is you post it and say your 500 friends see it. They comment, their 500 friends see it. And then if it starts to spiral that way. So the more people that comment on it and like it, the more people in those networks are going to see it. And that's how your content really makes an impact. I feel like maybe I skipped a page. Nope. And I saw this coming up in the chat earlier, and I want to share it with you. So here's my fun pro tip. Business cards are going away. They're going away. On your phones, if you have your phones handy, open up your LinkedIn app. On your LinkedIn app, you are going to see these little buttons here. Okay. And I did it again. Where'd my little mouse tracker go? So you're going to see those little buttons. You're going to click those buttons, and this screen is going to pop up, and it's going to say scan or my code. Because we're COVID, you're probably not going to be scanning a lot of other people's phones right now, but you'll select my code. And that's when this QR code comes up. So if you'd like to connect with me, you can open up your cameras and take a photo of my QR code. And that will link you right to my LinkedIn page. And I think this is the new way we're going to be connecting with people. If you haven't used QR codes a whole lot, as restaurants open up, you're going to realize that restaurants' menus are going on this QR code. They're putting them on the tables, they're handing out the sheets of paper. So menus are going away. And I think that is going to make a huge difference as well. So scanning the QR codes will allow you to connect right away with people.
And
So
Tanya,
yeah.
So sorry to interrupt. How do we do this again? How do we take this thing, whatever that thing is called, and then
Sure.
I don't understand quite the relationship of taking a photo of this image and then bring it to somewhere where I don't know. It's like going to a city I don't know, but
let me go over it again for you. Okay.
Thank you.
This can only work on a cell phone. Okay. Let's start with that. You have to have the LinkedIn cell phone. So step one, open up your LinkedIn app. Then you'll hit the buttons on the top. Then from there, you're going to be brought to a screen that says scan or my code. You're going to select my code, and that's going to bring up your QR code. Okay.
Yeah.
This QR code can be scanned by other people, and that will take them to your LinkedIn profile page.
Okay, that part I understand, but what I don't understand is how do you share this picture, or how do you? You just said something about if you take a picture of my QR code, then you can go straight into LinkedIn, and it will be. I didn't quite understand the connection there, but
yep. So
yeah.
Now that I've generated my code, your task is to open up your camera on your phone and take a photo of that QR.
Which I just did with my two buttons on either side. I like a snapshot.
Yep, it should space it out, and I can walk you through it afterwards as well. We can, after the session, I can hop into a different breakout room with you and walk you through it a little easier. But you take it and it'll pop up. There should be a blue bar on your phone that says, would you like to open up this in LinkedIn? But you have to have the LinkedIn app.
No, I don't have that.
Yep. Okay.
Unfortunately.
So that's an easy way to connect with people and share info as you go through. Okay. So at this point, I'm going to hop over to the live demo, but I do want to, I've put my email address up there, but I've also put Izza's email address and the PR team's email address. I have to give huge kudos to the PR team for creating this slide deck today. It made it very easy to be able to present and talk to it, but it's been their this has been their bread and butter pulling this together. So huge thanks for that. I'm going to stop sharing, and while I'm doing that, unmute yourself, ask yourself some ask me some questions while I load up my LinkedIn profile page, and we can go from there.
I'm just going to, I noticed in the Stephanie Dauphin, I see that you have your hand raised if you want to unmute and ask a question.
Yes, my question, I put it on the chat also in the chat also. Well, thank you. First of all, thank you, Tanya, for your presentation. I wanted to know, do you have a follow-up strategy for people on LinkedIn? Because some people just, they ask to connect. I know the more the merrier, but is there a good strategy for you to follow up on LinkedIn for it to be more meaningful than just adding a lot of people?
Yeah, so I tend to, I do tend to filter out who I add. As much as I add a lot of people, I do tend to filter it out. So I tend to get people that are in my industry, have different likes and interests as me, or Toastmasters. So that would be an interest and a like. So I do tend to select those people, and I will accept their friendships. If they're trying to sell me something, I use more caution, right? So it's finding that around where you are and what works for you. If you add them, you can always unadd them if they become annoying. Keep that in mind. You can always unadd somebody. So you may want to just play around with it, see where your comfort level is. The more people that are there, they are seeing your content, they are benefiting from what you have to say. So you want to be able to maneuver it that way. Stephanie, I see your hand is up.
You answered the question.
Oh, perfect. Let's just keep asking.
And Tanya, there was a question in the chat before about if you would recommend that each club have their own LinkedIn page.
I think each club should have their own LinkedIn page for sure. For sure they should, because you've got your own content, you've got your own culture, and I think that really makes a big difference. So you want to be able to embrace that and build your audience that way. So for us, our LinkedIn page, like as Toastmasters, our club LinkedIn page, that's our face of our business. That's where we get to spread that information. Demographically wise, our audience on LinkedIn is typically that professional that is in that 25 to 55 to 65 year range, which aligns really nicely with the demographic of a Toastmaster. And so that's another reason that you want to be using it, is it does target the demographic that we're trying to target on Facebook. Facebook is great for, there's so many people on it, and it gives you that easy talk track. And I always like Facebook, and I debate this with my boss quite often, is in Facebook, it's that who am I and why are you going to like me, and building that connection, right? If I'm going to go to a Toastmaster club, I'm scouring their Facebook page of, okay, who am I going to meet? What are they like? How's this going to be? So I get that really personal cultural vibe from Facebook. When I go to LinkedIn, who's going to make me smarter? How am I going to get more knowledge and learn and grow that way? So I use the two in tandem, but completely different reasons for that. For your personal account, what kind of message will motivate you more to accept an invitation from people? I think for me, it's what do you do? So I pay attention to the about section. Who are you? And why would you and I be a good fit, right? Who are you? What do we have in common? What can I learn from you, and what can you learn from me? So how does that work in that relationship? And I think it's that way. I mean, LinkedIn is networking, it's relationship building. So if we think of it that way, it's kind of like when you go to a party and you walk up to a stranger and you say hello and hi, how are you? I'm good. I'm good. at that point, you're making that decision of, do you want to continue with the next part of the conversation, right? So it's what's new, what brought you here today. And so LinkedIn is very much the same way. You're having that back and forth dance of, okay, do I want to have a relationship with you? Do I want to continue a conversation? What benefits can you bring to me? And what benefits can I bring to you? And that's what makes that connection work. And you don't always get it right. You add them, and sometimes you never hear from them. You never know anything about them. But that's where I call it Rolodex Mondays, where you sit down and you go through it and you're like, hey, I noticed you're on my LinkedIn profile, but I don't know a whole lot about you. Maybe we can have a conversation, right? So you might want to be able to do that as well. So I do want to show you a couple of things on here. So to create a post, it's right at the very top. This is a post on my personal page, okay, if I'm doing this. So learning about, if I could spell, LinkedIn on a Saturday. Okay. Now here's the thing. I can't spell at all. I have probably had too much coffee. Now, there's my general post. What I want to do to enhance this post is I'm going to tag Toastmasters District 61 in it, maybe, with the @ symbol, and then Toastmasters. I don't want international, I don't want 47, but I do want District 61. And the reason I want that is now all of a sudden, if they're not on my page, Toastmasters District 61 is also going to see it. I might want to do a hashtag of LinkedIn. I might want to do a hashtag of learning, so that all of a sudden this starts to build into my post. Now, all of a sudden, anybody that's following LinkedIn posts are going to get it. Anybody that's following learning posts are going to get it. And so that's kind of, we don't talk about it a whole lot, but that's the power of a hashtag. Hashtags are people that follow them and specifically look for those things. And so I'm going to post this, but then I'm going to hop over to the search bar and I'm going to show you what I mean by that. So let's post. And my post is successful. I don't need any reminders on it, and that is done. And there my post shows up there. Now, I said, let's take a look at hashtag learning. There is all of the, I feel like I'm missing something. Let's put the, so when I do that, I get to see all of the other posts that are in relation to it, and people are following this and they're engaging in it. And so it's going to populate on there. So it becomes a whole, I have security settings on mine. It becomes a whole new network of possibilities for it. And so we want to be able to use those hashtags to be able to enhance our messaging as well. So let's talk about our business postings, if we will. Let me see if I can, let's go over to, so let me show you that. Up at the top, you've got your profile picture, and then there's a down arrow. So once you've created your page, they're going to show up here as to all of the pages that you manage. So let's go over to the Toastmasters District 61 page. And on here, I'm going to view it as a member. And this is what a member is seeing. They're seeing the Toastmaster logo. They're seeing a photo. They've got an About Us description. They get to see the posts that have been made and tagged to this page. I can see all of the posts that are there. So that gives some great content for it, right? Here, there was an article that was done up by Simon Sinek, and then just a great reminder on mentorship, but it's going back to that original article. And this is an example of taking somebody else's post and not just sharing it, but adding some of your own thoughts around it. So I didn't copyright the post. I gave Simon Sinek the credit of it by adding that thought leadership around there. So it starts to build out that way. I'm going to pause there and see if there's any other questions. I'm not sure how we're doing on timing. 11:46.
We have 9 minutes left, and I
Perfect.
do see that Minnie, you have your hand raised if you wanted to ask a question.
Yeah, I do have a question for Tanya. So do you recommend we using for our personal one is like pro account or a regular account is fine?
A regular account is perfectly fine. The pro account is great if you are in a role where you need to be doing lead generation. So if you're looking for potential customers, then you may want to look at getting a pro account. A pro account will allow you to, I'm going to use the word cyber stalk people without them knowing you. And that's the biggest advantage of a pro account. Otherwise, having just the personal account, it's free. It allows you to go on, check things out, see people, see businesses, interact with them. The pro account allows you to do it kind of a little more discreetly so people don't see that you're doing it.
Okay, thanks. And then is that for job as well? Because I will be graduating from university soon, so that's the question.
Same answer for a job. In fact, for a job, I would almost recommend that you stay where you're completely visible so that people can, in fact, see where you are looking, and it starts to draw that more interest of, okay, if you've applied for a job with me, I go on LinkedIn and I see that you've been on my page, says that you're doing your research, you're checking things out. And I think that's important because if you've applied for a job and you've never gone to their website, never gone to their Facebook page, never gone to their LinkedIn, I have to wonder why. Why haven't you done your research? Why are you applying for this job? Like, so it gives you more credibility by doing that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Is hashtags good? Because on Facebook, it's if you promote your ads, it's a good thing to use hashtags. But if you don't, you're not going to be seen by a lot of people. Is it the same principle in LinkedIn or not?
It is the same principle in LinkedIn.
Okay.
So you do want to use hashtags. Here's the thing with hashtags though, you want to put them at the end of the post,
Okay.
not at the beginning. So same thing in Facebook, your hashtags always go to the end. So the theory is you want to tag people at the end. So to tag a person or a business, it's using the @ symbol. So if you're tagging a like if you're writing a personal post and you want to tag the Toastmaster Club, it would be @ Toastmaster Club ABC, and you would put that at the end. Your hashtags are conversation generators. So what are people looking for conversation on? That's where your hashtag. So it comes after the company that you tagged. Okay.
Yes.
How do you tag other people? I think I just answered that, Franny, but just in case, use the @ symbol, type their name, and it should come up. Okay. If it doesn't come up, it could be that you're typing the wrong name and people will spell their name differently. So type a few characters at a time, see what's coming up that way.
I do have a question about it, if I could.
Mm-hmm.
So like when you did the @ Toastmasters District 61, do I need to be like connected to Toastmasters District 61 in order to do the tag, or can I just tag any Toastmasters group?
I don't know. Let's try. Let me get back to my personal page.
And does that mean everybody who's in that group will be able to see the post that I make?
Yep. So what's your Toastmasters club? Do you have a Toastmaster page yet?
I'm with LAN. I don't know if they have a LinkedIn or not. LAN Toastmasters. And
LAN. Oh.
Yeah. But I don't know if they have a LinkedIn page.
Does anybody on the line have a LinkedIn Toastmasters page already?
I think our club have it, but I don't have the access for that.
Barhaven Toastmasters does.
Thank you, Karen.
Riverside.
Is it called Barhaven Toastmasters?
Good question. I think so. Hang on.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Barhaven Toastmasters. So no, I'm not connected to them and it's not allowing me to tag them in it.
Try if you can find mine, Tanya. Riverside, see? You're connected to me, maybe it'll come up.
And I think it depends, Tanya, on how people have their settings set. If
Yeah.
it's open for anybody to tag, because I just did a post and tagged someone that I wasn't connected with originally. I connected after.
Here's the other thing too, since I've got my posting screen open, you can always, let me try that again. If you're in here and you're creating a post and you realize you're posting as Tanya Hall and it's like, oh, I don't want to be posting as Tanya Hall, you can do your drop down and then you can select who you want to be posting. So if your Toastmasters Club is in there and you're an admin of it, you would post it on there as well. So you could all of a sudden switch, and now I'm going to be posting as Toastmasters District 61.
And Tanya, there was a question about how do we share someone else's article? Like if you mentioned commenting on someone else's, commenting on an article you've read, for example.
Yep. So let's say I'm looking at Kenny Weiss's Emotional Mastery. Say I want to share it. I can hit the share button, and now all of a sudden it brings up this. I can share it again as Toastmasters District 61, or I can share it as Tanya. I'll share this one as Tanya, and it'll be, this is a great short video. Hope you enjoy. And then I can post. Make sense? Cindy just asked, is it worth for Toastmasters to have their club set up on LinkedIn? I think so. And I think it's worth it because if you set your club up there, you've got to start building your audience somewhere. So yeah, maybe not all of your club members are on there, but your future guests are on there. And that's why you want to be able to do it. So it's less about your current members and more about the people that aren't members yet. And I think too, it kind of starts working together. Toastmasters International is branding, Toastmasters District 61 is branding. And if we start layering our clubs onto that, people aren't going to have a choice but to notice Toastmasters. And I think that makes a huge, huge difference that way as well. So I do see the red card. I see that we're out of time. I am, I'm super passionate about LinkedIn. I think it has made a difference in my world. I hope that today you've walked away with a little bit more education on this. I am around. I'll be around at the Q&A session as well. So feel free to write your questions, ask me. You can private message me throughout the day as well. And happy to pass it back over to Michael to take us through the next steps. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you very much, Tanya. That was fantastic. I know I've got my homework for after today's event of what to improve on my LinkedIn and our club's LinkedIn.